The biggest bombshell in Formula One just dropped, and it's turning the entire paddock upside down. Leaked news confirms that Christian Horner, only days after being dramatically sacked by Red Bull, is already in advanced talks with Ferrari. That's right, one of the most successful and controversial figures in F1 history could be making a shocking comeback with the Scuderia. But this isn't just a career move. Behind the scenes, insiders are calling it a calculated strike, a move driven by years of tension, fractured relationships, and what many are calling Horner's ultimate revenge. After 2 decades of loyalty and leadership at Red Bull, the way he was pushed out has clearly left a mark. And now, instead of stepping away quietly, he's aiming to return at the helm of Red Bull's fiercest rival. This could signal one of the most dramatic power shifts F1 has seen in years, and the ripple effects are only just beginning. The shock of Horner's potential move to Ferrari is only half the story. Just days ago, the Formula One world was left stunned when Red Bull announced that Christian Horner had been removed from his position as team principal. After more than 20 years of leading the team to countless victories and championship titles, he was sacked without a clear explanation. The official statement was vague, offering no real reason for such a major decision. But those close to the team say the writing had been on the wall for some time. Tensions had been growing behind closed doors, especially with Max Verstappen's camp. Rumours of power struggles, behind-the-scenes conflicts, and internal divides had been swirling for months. And with Verstappen's own future at Red Bull becoming increasingly uncertain, some believe Horner's departure was the result of pressure from the very top, possibly even from Max himself. Fans are left confused and frustrated. Why would Red Bull let go of the man who helped build their dynasty? Why now? And why in such a sudden and silent way? These questions hang in the air as the team faces one of its most chaotic moments in recent history. As the dust barely began to settle from Horner's sudden departure, whispers started circulating through the F1 paddock. Whispers that quickly turned into serious reports. According to multiple insider sources, Ferrari didn't waste a second. The moment the news of Horner's sacking broke, top figures within the Italian team reached out to him. This wasn't just a polite inquiry. These were early signs of deep, strategic talks. Interestingly, not long ago, Horner was asked if he'd ever consider joining Ferrari, and he laughed it off, saying, "I don't speak Italian, and I'm not leaving Red Bull, but everything has changed now." He didn't leave Red Bull, they removed him. And now, Ferrari sees an opening. Behind the scenes, it's being said that Ferrari is no longer fully convinced by Frederic Vasseur's leadership. While the team has shown flashes of brilliance, the consistency and execution simply haven't matched expectations. Leclerc and Hamilton may be strong drivers, but strategy and team direction continue to hold them back. That's where Horner comes in. His record speaks for itself. 8 drivers' titles, 6 constructors, and a reputation for pulling off master-level strategy under pressure. Talks are said to have reached a critical point, with Ferrari preparing to offer Horner a major top-level deal. For Ferrari, this isn't just a signing, it's a move to bring back their legacy. For Horner, it could be the perfect way to write his next chapter, and strike back at Red Bull in the process. For Horner, this isn't just about taking another job. This feels personal. After everything he gave to Red Bull, years of dedication, loyalty through scandals, and leadership through some of the toughest periods, the way he was removed hit hard. He stood firm during the chaos of internal investigations, the quiet exits of key figures like Adrian Newey and Rob Marshall, and even during technical challenges that shook the team's performance. Yet despite weathering all of it, he was suddenly pushed out without explanation. People close to him say that Horner doesn't just want to move on, he wants to prove something. Stepping into Ferrari, Red Bull's oldest and most iconic rival, wouldn't just be a comeback. It would be a message. From being unexpectedly dismissed to possibly leading the most historic team in Formula One, Horner would be turning rejection into redemption. This could be the ultimate revenge move, not with anger, but with success. He knows what it takes to win. He knows how to build champions, and if he can bring that formula to Ferrari, it could completely shift the power dynamics of the sport. For Horner, this is more than a new chapter. It's about legacy, pride, and showing that his story is far from over. Ferrari, for all its history and star power, is still stuck chasing a dream it hasn't touched in years. A championship, Under current team principal Frederic Vasseur, the team has had moments of brilliance, but they haven't been enough to truly challenge McLaren or Red Bull over a full season. The 2025 season has especially highlighted their struggles. Strategy calls have been off the mark, in-race decisions have often left fans and drivers confused, and coordination between the team and its two top-tier drivers, Leclerc and Hamilton, just hasn't clicked the way it should. They've had opportunities, but too many of them have slipped away due to poor planning and inconsistent execution. And that's exactly why Ferrari now sees Christian Horner as their missing piece. He brings something they've lacked for years, proven, polished leadership at the very top. He's built teams around champions, developed drivers into winners, and led Red Bull through eras of dominance. Horner doesn't just manage a race weekend, he builds a winning culture. If Ferrari is truly serious about ending their long championship drought, they need more than just fast cars and talented drivers. They need someone who knows how to turn potential into trophies. For many, Horner is not just a good option, he's the best one they've got. And if this deal goes through, Ferrari might finally be ready to return to the very top of Formula One. With Christian Horner out, Red Bull is walking a very fine line, and many believe they've entered a dangerous new phase. His sudden exit has left a massive leadership vacuum at the very top of the team, and it's come at the worst possible time. Max Verstappen's future is already hanging in the balance, and this move might have made things even worse. While some insiders suggest Horner's sacking was done to keep Max happy, especially after growing tension between Horner and Verstappen's camp, it might actually backfire. Because without Horner, Red Bull's foundation looks shakier than ever. Key figures like Adrian Newey, Rob Marshall, and Jonathan Wheatley have already left. These weren't just regular staff, they were the brains behind Red Bull's most dominant years. And now, without Horner there to hold it all together, the risk of a full collapse is real. Verstappen could leave for Mercedes, and if he does, it could mark the beginning of a long rebuild for Red Bull. On top of that, the sport is heading into another regulation change in 2026, and with no clear direction, internal uncertainty, and major losses on the technical side, Red Bull could go from dominating the grid to fighting just to stay in the top 5. The very same team that once set the standard for performance and innovation may now be staring at a serious decline. And it all started with pushing Horner out. Even though Max Verstappen's camp publicly claimed they had nothing to do with Christian Horner's dismissal, the signs behind the scenes suggest a very different story. Jos Verstappen, Max's father, had been openly critical of Horner for months. He even warned that the team was in danger of being torn apart if Horner stayed in charge. These weren't quiet whispers, they were bold statements made during a time when Red Bull was already under pressure. And Max himself added fuel to the fire by refusing to fully commit to Red Bull beyond the 2025 season. Every time he was asked about his future, he gave vague answers, which only made things more tense inside the garage. It's possible that Red Bull made their bold move, removing Horner, to try and convince Max to stay. They might have thought that showing loyalty to their star driver would calm things down. But here's the twist. What if it actually made things worse? What if, instead of showing strength and a clear vision for the future, Red Bull's decision came off as pure desperation? Max is a driver who knows his value. He's already won multiple championships and could easily find a seat at Mercedes if he wanted to. So, this power shift might not lock Max in. It might give him even more leverage to walk away. If that happens, Red Bull's gamble could turn into one of the biggest miscalculations in Formula One history. Christian Horner's departure isn't just another team principal switch, it's the end of an era. With 8 driver championships and 6 constructors' titles under his leadership, Horner built Red Bull into a true powerhouse. And he didn't just ride the wave, he created it. From the early dominance with Sebastian Vettel to the post-Renault crisis comeback with Honda and Max Verstappen, Horner led through every high and low. His ability to rebuild a winning team from scratch not once but twice is something few in the paddock can claim. He also had a rare quality loyalty to his drivers. Whether they were winning or struggling, Horner backed them, often shielding them from the spotlight, so they could grow in confidence and performance. But what truly separated him from the rest was his strategic mind. Race after race, Red Bull's execution was sharp and calculated, something Ferrari has consistently lacked. So, If Ferrari ends up signing Horner, it won't just be a win for them, it will be a direct hit to Red Bull's foundation. They won't just lose a leader, they'll lose the architect of their modern success. And that's the kind of loss that could take years to recover from. With the F1 summer break just around the corner, things are heating up faster than anyone expected. This is usually the time when contracts get shaken up and rumors run wild. But 2025 is already shaping up to be the most chaotic, silly season in recent memory. And at the center of it all is Christian Horner. If he officially signs with Ferrari, the dominoes could start falling immediately. Fred Vasseur might be out of the picture. Max Verstappen could seriously consider moving to Mercedes, and Red Bull could be forced into a full rebuild sooner than planned. This isn't just about one man switching team sits, about a massive shift in Formula One's power structure. The competitive balance we've seen for the last few years could be completely reshaped before the new regulations even come into play in 2026. And the irony? All of this may have started with Red Bull choosing to part ways with the very man who helped build their legacy. Now, Horner holds the keys to one of the most dramatic shakeups F1 has ever seen, and whatever happens next could change the future of the sport for years to come. So, after everything we've seen unfold, what do you think is really happening behind closed doors in Formula One right now? Could Christian Horner be the one to lead Ferrari back to glory and kick off a brand new era for the prancing horse? Will Red Bull end up regretting the decision to push out the man who helped build their empire? And what about Max Verstappen? Is he quietly shaping the future of the grid from behind the scenes? These exclusive leaks and shocking developments are only just the beginning. One thing is certain, the world of F1 is changing fast, and the old power order might not survive the shakeup. If you've got your own take, drop it in the comments below, we'd love to hear it. And if you're ready to dive deeper into the madness of the F1 power struggle, don't miss the next video. This story is far from over.